All right, everybody, welcome to the medium-high tuning section of the course. I'm going to show this to you on, this is called a Ludwig Bronze Rocker. This is a cheap drum. It's one of the first drums I bought, and it sounds amazing. I wanted to show you on this drum because I don't think you have to spend $800 on a drum for it to sound great. You have to get a decent drum that's round, and then you have to tune it well and hit it well. So the frequencies we're going to use on this drum, on the bottom we're going to do 380, super high again, really tight, and then on the top we're going to do 260. So that's quite a bit higher. If you watch the low tuning, that was at 170, 175-ish. So we're going up a lot higher. I skipped the finger tightening part of this so you guys didn't have to watch that, but this thing is dead. Lugs are all just finger tight. I don't know if you can see it in the overhead camera up there, but it's wrinkled. It's just not ready to play. And the snare strainer on this thing is goofy. It's hard to even get the snares off of it. So, but that's what gives this thing character. So let's go ahead and listen around, just see where we're at. 150, 76. So this thing is just kind of a mess. Now I can see that it's wrinkled, so I'm going to go ahead and give a little bit more attention over here. And I can even feel these ones didn't get perfectly finger tightened. And remember, this portion, it's okay to do bigger moves. We're really just trying to get this thing to have some tension on it. I remember when I was first tuning, that seemed like a very high note to me, and now it's that's super low compared to how high we're about to go. So we're getting some tension there. Let's see what we're at. 360, that's not right. Maybe it is right. 244, that's probably more like what we're actually at. So if the app gives you a little error like that, go ahead and listen around. If you're like, there's no way that's 360, it's good to go to different portions of the drum and see what it's actually resonating at. So we've got a long ways to go. I think I told you we were going to do 380 on this. And the reason I'm doing big turns like that is because, for whatever reason, as I tensioned other parts of the drum, this lug got completely loose. 302, 316. So we're getting up there. Still doing some weird stuff. Because that one was super loose. Now remember, if you didn't watch the basic tuning section, I have this sitting on a drum throne right now. I'm doing that because I don't want to hear the overtones from the other head. Only want to hear the one we're working with. So we're up in the 330s now. 350. $360, 340. And this is one of the reasons I love the app, because when you get into really high pitches like this, it's pretty hard to hear the difference for me. Some people might be able to pick that out, but for me it's really hard. Okay, I think I told you 380, but I think now that I'm actually hitting it, we're going to stay closer to 360 or 370. Okay, so we're in the 360s. I'm not even going to get that completely perfect. If you had a lot of time and you wanted to really get it dialed in perfectly, go for it. But 360 is good enough for me at this point. It's tuned super high. Now we're gonna switch over to the top. Now, one thing that's funny about this drum is as you tension the bottom or the top, it affects the other head, so we'll see what's happening up here. It's created some tension on the top, and I mean, I haven't even tuned that, but because we have the bottom head tuned properly, that already sounds like a snare drum to me. One important detail about this drum is that I am using an Evans HD Dry. And I love these heads because they have all these holes around the outside, and then there's an extra ply down here. Basically, it takes out a lot of overtones, makes the drum really easy to tune. So let's see what our top head's at. 190. And this really brings up a great point that I want to make, and we can do this with really each snare drum. When you tune the bottom head properly and you get those snares sitting on there nicely, you can do so many different things with the top head. So this is at 190. And it's not even perfectly, there's not perfect tension all the way around, and you can just hear. That already sounds like a pretty sweet snare. But we're not going for that low sound, we're going for something a little bit higher. So let's go ahead and crank this thing up. We're gonna go all the way up to 260. And I'm just going around, bringing these up. Let's check where we're at. 247, 246. So you can hear this side needs to come up a little bit. .255, we're getting really close. So we're not even up to 260, we're up to 255. Some of them are at 260, but I want to just go ahead and let you hear how this sounds. So that's sort of a medium-high tuning. That's super practical and useful. If you were using this at church or in a live setting or in the studio, I think that's going to sound great. And when they're tuned medium-high like this, they're also a lot of fun to play. They're a little more responsive than when they're tuned super low. There's a little bit of a ring to it, but nothing I don't think that an engineer couldn't work with. And sometimes a ring is actually nice. It adds some tone to the drum. So go ahead and try that on your drum. After you get it all tuned up, drop the top head down 50 hertz and see what happens, or crank it up another 20 hertz and see what happens, and have fun playing that drum.